Dragon Ball? I know I do. Are you tired of being starved of your favorite show for years on end with a few projects every 3 to 4 years with varying degrees of quality control? You bet your two left testicles I am. Now, moment of honesty here, is Dragon Ball a particularly thought-provoking series? No. Does Dragon Ball have very predictable storytelling and fall into the same tropes over and over again? Yeah, it does, unfortunately. But this series is still a classic. There are far too many moments of individuals talking about how Dragon Ball got them into the anime community. There are far too many talented cosplayers that aspire to get a Goku-like physique to deny the cultural impact that Dragon Ball has had. Look at the modding community on older games like Budokai Tenkaichi 3. The game was released in 2007 and mods are still being made to this very day to satiate starving fans who want more of that particular game series. Dragon Ball fans may be ignorant, racist, unoriginal, annoying, and generally pretty stupid, but you can't call them passionless, myself included. No matter how frustrated I get with the series and how annoyed I get with the fan base, I'm still a Dragon Ball fan at the end of the day. I love the goofy yet charming character of Son Goku. I love when the battles are intense. I love the silly character moments. I can't wait for the next chapter of Dragon Ball so I can look at the fantastic art and the paneling, all these different things. But when the supply gets cut off, it's frustrating. The last we got of any Dragon Ball related content in an animated format was last year with the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie released in August of 2022 and June in Japan. But before that, the last animated Dragon Ball project we had was in 2018 with the release of Dragon Ball Super Broly. And I swear to God, if any of y'all silly asses mention Dragon Ball Heroes and that horrendous animation, I'm gonna find you and I'll rip your from your shoulders. There's so many gaps of time between meaningful content for Dragon Ball, it is absolutely astounding. Even with the manga, it's still monthly, and with the pacing of the story sometimes, it can be several months before anything of substance actually happens. To be frank, no one cared about the Trunks and Goten high school arc, and nobody wants a retelling of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie for the next several months because it's just filler at this point. I am genuinely perplexed as to why the people over at Shueisha are allowing this type of filler to be done before we get a new arc for the manga. The Granola arc had a lot of problems, but even still, people were reading month to month. So when you have the fans sit down, have them relax, and give them an over-the-pants handy, the blue balls can get overwhelming, dude. It is astounding how Toei has not announced the development of the Mora arc being animated yet, and possibly production hasn't even started, I think. I really don't care what sources you may hear regarding inside information, but like, no one knows what's actually going on over there. Also, I'm mainly talking about DBS Chronicles on Twitter, by the way. If you still follow this clown, you need to fix it, because all he does is lie and bait people into getting him more followers so he can give a scoop, quote unquote, which is just some information that other people could have already guessed or so insignificant that no one really cares. Then when the information he gives out is proven false, he just gives the excuse of whoops, made a little oopsie, sorry friends. Honestly, don't ever believe any leakers you hear. Geekdom is kind of but at least he attempts to get the information right after crying on Twitter about getting canceled, obviously. Anyway, as far as the actual production of the Dragon Ball anime goes, the 90s were at its peak. From 1990 to 1999, there were a total of 13 Dragon Ball movies, as well as Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT airing during that time as well. If we go from 2013 when Battle of Gods was released to now, we have had 4 Dragon Ball movies and only 1 mainline anime series in 10 years. That is absolutely ludicrous and low-key disrespectful to the fan base. Listen, I enjoyed superheroes as much as the next guy, but why was this film CG? I don't understand. It looks really nice in most scenes and there is no shortage of quality animation, but sometimes it looks like it was pulled straight out of Naruto the Uzumaki Chronicles. Even when we got Dragon Ball content, it ranged from decent to baby piss. Now, if you know me, you know that I think that Yamamuro, the lead animator of DBS, is washed and has been washed since the late 90s. This man has put out some gas here and there recently. I mean, he was in charge of the latter half of the Tournament of Power, especially Goku versus Jiren's fight, and I mean, he was the lead guy for much of the Buu saga, and everybody knows how much that saga looks great. But golly, man, I am so tired of quality fight sequences in Dragon Ball Super lasting for 1 to 1.5 minutes at a time. It is ridiculous. The most redeeming part of the series is the fights. Why do you refuse to give your animators quality amount of preparation and adequate pre-production instead of rushing them to hit a god-awful schedule? Also, why on God's green earth did they decide to have 2 major arcs dedicated to the movies that the overwhelming majority of people saw in theaters? You had 27 episodes of the anime dedicated to these movies. Do you realize how many months that is? It's 6. 6 months of things we pretty much knew about already. Never mind the fact that we had the Goku Black arc, which, oh boy, another Saiyan, it looks like Goku, but get it this time, guys, it's actually Goku. But not really, because this salty, whiny, little puny excuse of a god's intern saw 2 cavemen kill each other and decided to go on a mission to wreck any civilization he came into contact with. Like, bro, what? Can you imagine if that was actually a version of Goku from a different timeline? Again, it would have been kind of cliche, but seeing what drove him to that point and what made him turn out that way would have been interesting. Kind of like Danny Phantom when he cheated on his test. Bro, when I was 9 years old and I saw that episode, I was shook to my core. I legit thought that cheating on a test would actually make me a real life supervillain. Like, it gave me a whole existential crisis even thinking about looking at another kid's paper. Anyway, tangent aside, people were hyped to see Vegito back, and this time with Super Saiyan Blue fighting Fuse Zamasu. Then they cucked everybody and had them defuse early, so he was only around for like 5 minutes. I genuinely don't get what they're going for here. You get all this hype for this beloved character in the series and he gets only 5 minutes? He had like 40 when he fought Buhan. What? The Tournament of Power was a bunch of nonsense if you ask me personally. Like, why on earth would I care about any of these fodder Namekians from another universe who did a whole bunch of nothing? And Ribrianne? Come on, son, they didn't even do anything cool with the Namekians. They didn't have any interesting powers or anything, even though they combined literally all of their people on their planet into these 2 dudes. Again, interesting concept, but a god-awful execution. I'm not gonna get into Ribrianne or the Trio to Danger because my blood pressure is already high, but be honest, do you really want to see Goku or any of the Z Fighters trade blows with the anthropomorphic wolf? Also, a lot of the animation in the Tournament of Power was as well. Now, anything involving UI Goku, yeah, it was crispy. It was crispy. Yuya Takahashi has some fantastic sequences in this arc, don't get me wrong, but honestly, it's not worth the absolute slog that the Tournament of Power is when it doesn't include Universe 7. And even when Universe 7 is around, there's some straight up foolishness, like how Tien got utterly disrespected. I remember 18 and Krillin doing basically nothing, and Gohan was struggling against Dispo. There's some genuinely good moments in this arc, but it gets overshadowed by the amount of straight garbage. I will say that the last 15 or so episodes of the Tournament of Power are pretty good, generally speaking. And moving past this though, I think the Moro arc, if handled properly, could get Dragon Ball back into the spotlight. If Toei handles the Moro arc and Renova arc with respect and actually lets these animators and writers do what they do best, DBS could come back being on top. Like, there's still light at the end of the tunnel. Like, yeah, DBS looks like garbage because of the plasticky look of the characters and how Goku can be super out of character sometimes, but there's a slight ray of hope, man. I'm telling you. I mean, look how Shintai's character designs just leap off the page when you look at the Broly movie, or how the music in this series is still absolutely phenomenal to this very day, decades later. Now, come on, man, we can do better. Also, this is Daffy in post-production, but if I see any more of this garbage, I swear to God, I will actually fly over to Japan myself. Like, you look at the animation standard nowadays for a series like Demon Slayer, Vinland Saga, Fate/Stay Night, whatever that series is, I don't watch it. You look at the animation standard for those things, then you come over to Dragon Ball Super and it's just like, huh? Now again, the movies don't count, but you know, it can get really disheartening, man, for real. As to when the next time we will see Dragon Ball in an animated format next, who really knows at this point? And this is getting kind of morbid. I don't want to dwell on this too long, but Nozawa, the Japanese dub for Goku, she's getting older, man. I believe she's 86 at this point. Like, she's an older woman. She should be retired by now, but I don't know. I don't know. It kind of hurts my heart to even think about a day we don't have her voicing our favorite character. But anyway, yeah, small rant over. Dragon Ball deserves better than this. I don't know why we're getting this treatment as fans. Still, I guess Toei's allergic to money. I guess you literally have a flagship series at this point. You have all these crazy animators working on One Piece, but we can't get anything for Dragon Ball. Come on, son. Anyway, guys, me, boy Daffy. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Also, Discord will be in the description.